The 5-liter Daytrip is YETI's answer to a more compact, commuter-friendly cooler. It's overbuilt, it's clean, and it's way more practical than I thought. But before we get into the details, why did I even get one in the first place? On days I go into the office, I often bring a backpack with me, and sometimes I even bring a sling. I used to bring the YETI Flip 12 with me, but anyone who's commuted on a train knows that the seats are very small. And being 6'2", it feels like I'm stuck in a suitcase. I don't need ice to last 48 hours. I just need it to last from morning till lunch. The Daytrip is literally half the size of the Flip, and it checked all the right boxes without adding that extra bulk to my daily carry. So the YETI Daytrip comes in 2 sizes, a 5-liter and a 3-liter, which I do not have. But starting with the exterior, on the bottom side, it has an EVA molded bottom. Now this is dope because it lets you put it on virtually anything without it getting damaged. Now if you flip it to the other side, on the lid, they've made an update, because this is the second iteration of this Daytrip pack. The first iteration, it had a lip around the edge and it had an indent. But on the new updated version, it no longer has that. So it's got 3 handles, 1 on each side, except for the bottom. Now, they have made an update to the handles themselves. So the new model has a piece of fabric that runs all along the edge, the outside, and then it's reinforced with extra stitching. Whereas the old one has each individual handle attached to the bag itself. Now, the zippers on this cooler are actually very satisfying. They are not waterproof zippers, but they are very satisfying to use. Now, I kind of wish that they added some sort of attachment points on the outside, maybe to add something like a YETI sidekick to it, just to add to the extra versatility. So moving on to the inside, it's what a cooler is. It's an empty space to put food and drinks in. Now, it's insulated with cold flex insulation, but what this cooler does have that others don't have is it has a PackAttic. It allows you to have such things as a cutlery set. So I have the Sea to Summit cutlery set here. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It'll change your life. You don't have all that noise shaking around. You can also put such things as a granola bar or other snacks. This, by far, is my favorite feature. Now, this wouldn't be possible without the updated lid, so now it protrudes upwards, whereas the old model, it's just flat face. So I'm gonna go over some ways of packing it out and just try to answer some questions that I personally had when I was looking into purchasing this cooler. So I have some various sizes of YETI Ice here, and I also have YETI's new food containers in the various sizes, and I'm just gonna go over some of those scenarios. So in YETI's marketing materials, they reference the thin ice large to be what you should use for it. So obviously that fits, and it fits like a glove. Like, it's perfect. Like, there's no space around the edge. So in most of their marketing materials, they usually put 2 small ones and a medium. Obviously that fits perfect. Now, you can see it closes perfect. That's with an item in the top, by the way, and with the cutlery. But let's take those out, because I had a question about the ice. And I was like, can I actually fit ice on the top and bottom? So I'm just gonna use a small one just to see. It does not fit. So unfortunately, it does not work. That being said, you could still use a smaller ice and put it in the inside here. So let's say you had, I don't know, you had a drink. You could get away with putting extra ice in there. This isn't the smallest, there's a smaller size you can get, but let's just see that. So you have, let's add another pop. I don't know, maybe an apple and an orange. You could probably fit 2. Snacks, cutlery, that fits. Now, let's see. Could I use the thick ice? You definitely cannot use the thick ice. It's actually slightly bigger and it does not fit. So another question is, can I use the big container? That does fit if you don't have anything in the PackAttic. So that does work. That would be great to bring like food to a barbecue. Can you fit 2 mediums? Of course you can fit 2 mediums. You could probably even fit these small tangerines in between. You could probably fit this in there as well. Cutlery, that's a great combination. But you guys get the point. So when it comes to ice retention, you're gonna wanna pre-chill this. Now, I do see a lot of comments from people complaining about the ice retention on their coolers, but they're not pre-chilling. Guys, it doesn't matter if it's a YETI or any other brand, you gotta pre-chill your coolers. It's not gonna last half as long unless you pre-chill it. So with that being said, this particular cooler is amazing because it's so small, you could just toss it in your fridge overnight to pre-chill. So when I pre-chill it and I use the thin ice on the bottom, I easily last from morning into early afternoon and sometimes into the late afternoon. Now, if I'm looking to last the full day into the night and keep everything like frosty, I'm reaching for my flip. I'm not going for this. Now, if you're looking for more scientific results on ice retention, there are plenty of videos out there, so just check one of those out. So when it comes to accessories, there's really only one real accessory for the day pack, and that is a shoulder strap. I don't have one, but I do have a sidekick strap just for demonstration purposes. So the day pack strap connects here and here. Now, from my research, a lot of reviews are saying that the strap falls out and people don't really recommend it. With that being said, I feel strongly that YETI should have engineered the existing strap for the sidekick to work with this. I don't know, maybe they could have just made it so it clicks in. I'm just not a fan of having all these different straps for all these different products. Now, outside of that, the other accessories are obviously the YETI Ice and the YETI Food Containers. So at the end of the day, would this replace my YETI Flip 12? No, not really. But for quick work days, smaller outings, or when I feel like I just don't want to carry a suitcase, this thing's perfect. It's compact, it's durable, and it works perfectly with the YETI Food Containers. If you want to check out my review on that, click here. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.